And as you can see, the sign is still up there. Hanna Interest and Office Buildings. All of this was Mr. Mack Hanna's office buildings. And he had the first and only black saving and loan company here in Houston. Yes, you hear me, in Houston. That's why you go at TSU, you see a Mack Hanna Hall. And he donated when he came here and seen Texas Southern, Mr. Mack Hanna donated so much money to TSU to help get TSU off the ground to be the black university it is today. That's why you have a place called Mack Hanna Hall. As we look at Mack Hanna shopping, I would call it his center. His personal center. Mr. Mack Hanna had all of this here property, and he was leasing it out to the blacks who wanted to go in business for themselves. And he would have the loan that they can afford to get a loan. He would help put them in business if they was qualified to be in business. Because Mr. Mack Hanna did a lot for this city. That's why I'm here doing this historical part of Mr. Mack Hanna. And I was blessed to have his daughter to teach me. And she was married to one of the first black judges, Judge Peavy. That's Judge Tillman. And I was very blessed to be at Miller Junior High School, to be in the Miss Tillman's room. And she helped me out so much. I would never be the person I would be today without Mr. Mack Hanna's daughter, Miss Tillman. As she got married, that was her name. Her maiden name was Mack Hanna. Her maiden name was Hanna. And when she started teaching at Miller, she was Miss Tillman. And I don't know today, I wouldn't be the person I am today without Miss Tillman. Because Facebook family, I was ready to drop out of Miller Junior High School. I wasn't even planning on going to Jack Yates. But it was Miss Tillman who turned my life around. Mr. Mack Hanna's daughter. And Reba, I just want you to know, without your mother, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And without Mr. Mack Hanna, Texas Southern University wouldn't be the university it is today. This man had did so much for Third Ward. That's why I'm over here giving his credit. To let you see his name still lies up here on Dowling Street. You can call it Emancipation if you want it. I'm calling it Dowling. Because this is where our history is. I don't care if Mr. Richard Dowling was a Confederate, so what? Our history is here. And Mr. Mack Hanna, thank you for opening the doors. It was Mr. Mack Hanna who helped organize the blacks to be able to put what you might call the districts into City Hall. Yes, it was Mr. Mack Hanna here. His force, along with Mr. William Holland, that helped push the city to putting districts in. That's why we have a good city councilman in District D here, Miss Carolyn Eben Shabab. We love you, Carolyn. We love what you're doing because you know about your history here in Third Ward. And Mr. Mack Hanna is the one that opened the door for people like our mayor that I'm so proud of, Sylvester Turner. He remembered Mr. Mack Hanna. You know, and I see young people that comes in the door like Mr. Rodney Ellis. And I see other young people that comes in. But they got to realize without Mr. Mack Hanna, you wouldn't have a Sylvester Turner as a mayor. You wouldn't have a Rodney Ellis as a county commissioner. So I just want to put that history by you. And I'm staying here to pay my respect to Mr. Mack H. Hanna. Look like we on this famous corner of Dowling and Wheeler. And over there was Wheeler Pharmacy, which was operated by a black man. And over there, in the building behind it, was a doctor office, which was a black person. And then right in this little strip center here, we had my main man, Calvin Calvin Calvin, and he had his place over here, the Calvin Sportsman Club. And next door over here, we had King B. Y'all remember King B? King B had a little record shop right there. And Calvin opened up his club, and his famous club that brought in a lot of black entertainers was right there, and it was called the Ebony Club. And right over here was Skyline, which was Riverside Cab Company right there on that corner. All these was black operated during these days. And you wonder what happened to our black businesses. And this was another black real estate company right here on the corner of Route. And down right here on this famous corner was the Algiers Hotel. It was one of the first black hotels where big artists used to come, like James Brown, Ray Charles, B.B. King, Bobby Bland. They all came and stayed at the Algiers because the white people would not let them stay at the white hotels. So they had to come in the black communities. This is what happened to our black community, y'all. And as I go down a famous street of Rosewood, going towards Darling, I will always remember the man that we love so much, Mr. Conrad Johnson. Mr. Conrad Johnson was a band director, the first band director at Kashmir. Mr. Conrad Johnson, father, was the first director of Jack Yates that was hired by Mr. James G. Ryan. Mr. Conrad's sister was, and what can I say about his sister? His sister is my best friend's mother, Miss Sue Tankersley. The original name, Miss Sue Johnson Tankersley, was the first music teacher at James G. Ryan in September 1958. And we like to thank Miss Sue Tankersley for all that she brought to Ryan High School. For all you people that went to Ryan Junior High School, where Miss Tankersley's brother is Mr. Conrad Johnson. Miss Tankersley's father was the first director of Jack Yates High School Band. Some history for you as we go down Darling. Coming down Darling, y'all. And what can you say? Right up here on this corner was a good lady, Miss Shannon, stayed in our neighborhood. She had a nice restaurant up here on the corner of Darling and Blodgett. And then on the other end of Darling and Blodgett, you had the Impala restaurant. We had a lot of black-owned restaurants during them days. And you say, what happened to our black restaurants? Well, look around. Look at Watts Cafeteria. Gone. Look at Luby's. Gone. And all of these black people that used to go to the Impala and to Miss Shannon, they all started going to the white cafeterias. And what happened to the black cafeterias? They wound up going out of business. And right up here on this corner of Darling and Wentworth was Seals. Had his club right there. And you had a real estate company there. As we go on down here towards Arbor and Darling, which we always remember this place as Doc Arnold, used to be a PE teacher over at Jack Yates. He stayed on this corner of Wichita and Darling. And as we go down here, going towards Darling and Sophomore, what can you say about my main man, Paris Healy? You remember Shine Daddy? Yep, that's what Shine Daddy spot right there. Shine Daddy was the man when it comes to shining shoes. See, we used to have a lot of people that used to shine shoes for a living. You don't have that no more. You used to have a lot of people that was barbers. You don't have that no more. You used to have a lot of black people that own their own little filling station. You don't have that no more. And see, as we turn down here on Sophomore, I will show you where the Jews, because this is my neighborhood. I moved over here in 1959. I know what I'm talking about. This used to be a house, one big house, caught on fire. And what did the Jews do? Threw up the apartments with the insurance money. That was a big house. All of these was Jewish areas when we came over here. And my mother moved over here in 1959. That was a house that got burned down. And the Jewish people took the insurance money, made some apartments. Hey, I'm just telling you how GO go. Let's take a U-turn and go back. Cause this is the 2500 block. I know about this spot. You ain't gotta tell me right over there was a funeral home. That used to be a house. Right over here was another house that the Jew people had tore down, and the family wound up keeping the property. And what they got? A strip center. I guarantee you it's owned by Jews. And the Jewish people who own the street center is the people who kept the property and paid the property taxes on the property. And all of this was Jewish homes. And right here they made a bail bondsman out of it. A bondsman company. And all of this was Jewish areas. This was the only apartment that was over here. When we moved over here in 1959, it was called the Riverside Apartment. And then they had the Bayou de Ville apartments. And that was it.